use this trolley system that I mentioned earlier. Again, as you can see, let's see here. The red line shows this would be, again, for moving people around. At any given time, there'd be 5 or 6 of these 60-person vehicles that would be rotating around the island. And one day it would be in a clockwise fashion, this 3-mile loop, and another day it would be in a counterclockwise fashion, so that there's the track is worn down properly, the vehicles are circulated properly. At nighttime, when the traffic needs are lower, they will take 2 or 3 of those vehicles offline and just have one vehicle running at any given time. As I mentioned here, there's going to be this canal here is all navigable by marine, for larger boats. It's about 1 mile inland from Cumberland Island, which is a national park on the Georgia coast, and it's protected. With the beauty of this island is about 13 feet above sea level, so there's very little risk of hurricane damage. The soil conditions are fantastic for larger buildings because the sand is very compactable and very resilient to wear and tear. It has a great load-bearing capacity. The water here on the island, the wells that we've tapped into this island are, the water is as pure as it can be. There's very little treatment water required. A lot of the systems that we have for the island are going to be gray water systems where sinks and sprinkler and irrigation systems will be used. Wastewater that will be channeled through. Some of the larger problem types of waste will be handled separately, obviously, but irrigation and sink water and kitchen appliances, things like that, will go into a separate system and be circulated throughout the island to use in a gray water system, which will save a lot of energy. There's also a little bit of wind power on the island. This area here will, the wind generators are more symbolic than anything else, but they can generate power to allow the street lights and some of the public buildings to be. It's kind of an exciting project. Some of these single-family homes, as you see along here, these are called estate lots here. They're very expensive lots, but what the beauty of new urbanist attitude is that inside these areas we have people that can affordable housing, higher densities, higher, tighter streets, and lots of activity, lots of restaurants, mixed use. We have office, retail, and residential all in one building. And what that does, it creates a synergy in there, like in Brooklyn, New York, or Chicago. If you ever go there, you see people are walking around at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're like, wow, what is going on here? And what's great about these communities is inside that community you have carpenters, you have waitresses, you have professors, you have attorneys and doctors all working and congregating in one area. That's what makes a community so dynamic. And we spread everybody out. We try to spread people out and segregate and use these gated communities, as you'll see all over Florida. These gated communities where people are restricted from getting in and out. Those communities are failing because they're not sustainable and they're not welcoming to the public. And it's important, I think, that when you go to places that you enjoy, that you really like, and there's a reason for it. It's very sensible, and it's very easy to find out why you like it. It's because there's music there. The musicians live like 2 blocks away from where they're playing. People are congregating in bars. They don't care what they do for a living or anything. They're together. They're working together. They're playing together. There's like I said, there's retail, restaurants, residential, living, and office, like all in one area. That's what we're trying to encourage here. This would be probably be a good boilerplate for a lot of developments that you're going to see in the coming years. I think you're going to see a lot more of this new urbanist approach, where the car is no longer the focal point. We're not discouraging the automobile here, because I'm an automobile guy. I love cars like you guys do, but we're going to try to make that a little less necessary. We're going to try to make this development a development that you want to go to and park your car and just walk and ride your bike and get all over the place without having to rely on an internal combustion engine.
about owning your own business opposed to working under a major corporation?
Well, that's a good question, Brian. As I mentioned, as my career, as I got older and a little more stodgy and grumpy, I had a harder time accepting certain things. With larger corporations, Texas Instruments, when we designed a building, there were several, like 30 or 40 line-by-line standards that had to be implemented in that. So there's very little room for independent thought with a large corporation. You have a consortium of people, and you know, when you're working with a lot of people, you have a lot of different ideas, and by the time you get something that everybody agrees to, it's something that's a lot less significant, I think. With corporations, the design work I did when I was with Texas Instruments, I wouldn't even show you here. You know, I wouldn't want to show you that. It's just very simple and plain. Looked like it's been done 300 times, and that's the whole idea. Standards and procedures are very, very well defined. When I was trying to find a job, when I was leaving Texas Instruments, I tried to come back. I interviewed with Taubman, a developer here in Michigan, and they said, "Oh, Kevin, you have great credentials and all that, but you've been working for a big corporation. You don't know how to think anymore. You're no good anymore." And they said that to me. I was like, "Wow, what a statement! You know, I'm working for a large corporation. And they're like, you'll do more in one day with this small firm than you will in a whole month at Texas Instruments." And they were absolutely right. When I moved back from Colorado Springs to Walbridge Aldinger, the pace was unbelievable. It was a much smaller company, but the pace became insurmountable. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing 60-hour weeks here, whereas in Colorado Springs, by Thursday afternoon, I was trying to plan out where I was going to go for the weekend. That's not how it goes here. And then as I was working with Walbridge Aldinger, one of the things that I noticed is that inside that company, there were several things that I did every day that saved that company my salary times 5. You know, I did things that saved the company lots and lots of money, but I was being paid a pittance compared to what I thought I was worth. And that's one of the things. A corporation is a great vehicle for you to learn and to get out and see all these conventions and how things work and how they don't work. And then when you get off on your own, you can cut right through a lot of that stuff because you're smart enough, you have to be resilient enough, and outside of a corporation, you can think independently, you can bring outside consultants in, people that can help you that are like at the leading edge, state-of-the-art type of attitudes and approaches that when you're working for a big corporation, you're pretty much dictated as to where you can go and what you can say, what you can do, who you can talk to, who you can't talk to. It really is. It's a tough way to get through. But being an entrepreneur, again, taking a lot of those things that you learn as you get to a smaller company and being able to navigate in tough waters. Like right now, a lot of people who thought they could count on a corporation right now are losing their jobs and they've got nothing. And the people that will make it through these tough times are the ones that got the entrepreneur spirit, the ones who know how to put their shoulder to the wheel, know how to navigate through tough times. And that's what you guys are learning. That's what they're teaching you here at Brother Rice. You might not know it right now, but when you 10 years down the road when times are tough and you remember one of these teachers who gave you a hard time, made you come here at 6 o'clock in the morning, or made you come and see Kevin Hart speak at 7 o'clock in the morning. Those are the things that you're going to take with you and are going to help you get through. There are going to be tough times ahead. There's going to be great times ahead, but again, you being equipped to navigate is going to be very important. And that's why I think it's so important that you guys know how to do it, because you're all very smart, you can learn, and you can work on your own.
What local projects do you have?
Right now I have a project in Southfield where we're doing an extended care facility for elderly people. We have 170 units that is they don't want to call it an old folks home, but what it is essentially is an old folks home, but it has separate metering, separate kitchen and facility so that these elderly people can live independently. And it looks like a very big house, so it's very residential, but it's 160 units with its own kitchen and restaurant facility. It has medical facilities for people who need to have a little bit of help every once in a while. So that's going on right now. I'm working on a project in Toledo where I'm doing a planetarium project where we're taking the Geis technology, which is like similar to the IMAX theater, but they're using it for Planet displays and some of the more educational facilities. That's going to be at the crossroads at I-75 and 8090 Ohio Turnpike. That's going to be probably a $33 million project. We're just in the early stages of that planning.